Distinction of Iissiidiology conceptions about energy centers from the similar conceptions of Eastern knowledges. Part 2. Does localization or correspondence of each center to any region of the person exist? And secondly, what would you tell us about the conception of the auric egg?
Привязка не сохраняется, то есть вот этого жесткого, как это сказать?
The correspondence does not exist.
Наложение активности какого-то.
The strict superposition of any center's activity within any specific body site does not happen. More to say, when the centers act, they do so in pairs. The first and the second centers make their own intensity while interacting with each other. Moreover, these pairs of centers interact with other pairs. That is, any activity of the first center's pair originates or causes the activity of formal creators of the second pair of centers. The latter supervises the formal creators of the first pair of centers and provides various clues towards additional information for its realization, for formation of the personality of the self-consciousness. That is why such concentrations of energy do not exist, as people who study chakras consider. Actually, a center's activity is distributed throughout the entire organism. Although during activation, any kind of intelligent, psychic performance in configuration of the personality exists in its energy information field where there are some ascendants. Separate segments of the field begin to differ from one another. That means that there is no such performance as activation of only one center in the human configuration. For example, of Muladhara, Argla Muni. If the first center is activated, the second one is too, automatically. The colors of these centers are to be radiated in the so-called aura. La Grua is the synonym for aura in Iissiidiology. That means that there are always projections of other centers' activity which are closely connected with the current choices that the person makes, such as this type of activity, this sensual experience, this emotion, and these thought processes. This activity performs particularly brightly in the aura region around the brain and head. Besides, the aura is also miscellaneous because there are never simple decisions and choices to be made. Choices are always made by analysis and experiencing the variety of quite distinct psychic and mental states. This draws diverse neuronic chains in the brain. For instance, the limbic system activates, but along with the activation of the brain cortex, its compounds, the prefrontal cortex, the temporal cortex, and the parieto-temporal brain region, all of them are closely connected with self-consciousness, with self-awareness of personality of every human. Auric activity is very saturated and diversified during every type of psychic performance and state. That is why all that was written and imposed on people for thousands of years as so-called wheels, centers, or chakras are actually drastically different.
на самом деле совсем не так выглядит. И люди, обладающие каким-то
People who possess extrasensory vision would never say that by some definite kind of activity, only definite energies are generated by specific regions in the energy information field. And only these energies play the role. Actually, it is very difficult to imagine. And I have never seen any exact correspondence of any activity to any auric region. I could not say anything about that. Simply, by predominance of some parts of the color spectrum, it is possible to assume that there is the predominance of this sort of emotions in someone's psyche. It is also possible to consider by this image what conflicts and disputes cause feelings that are experienced by the person, so that along with one kind of feeling, there is always another kind thereof, that is immediately reflected on the condition of the auric system. If slightly switching to the different spectrum of vision, there we can see the infrared radiation spectrum. That means that it looks in its own way on the thermal spectrum, and this fact also superposes on the auric image. Therefore, when many people imagine how something burns with red somewhere down in a man's aura, or how his kundalini must burn when he is aggressive, it is a completely wrong notion. It is completely wrong. The significant correspondence to the brain as the main connecting organ among body and self-consciousness does not give the possibility to bind any feeling to any low, medium, or high location of our configuration.